All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Welcome to episode number 2 of Tigress Talk. Got my fellow Bengals fans with me here, Whitney, Yaz, and Jerry. How are you guys all doing?
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
I was waiting. I never know when it's my turn to talk on these. I'm like, who should go first?
Oh, I know. It's hard to
Good.
I have to do a call in to work that's not video, it's just phone, and that's even worse because you can't even see people being like, it's literally just like you talk and people talk and nobody can hear anybody. But anyway, so training camp, very exciting stuff going on at a training camp. They had their together again, or is that what it was called, on Saturday, and so that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, obviously you guys didn't get to make it because you're all out of town, but I was able to go for a little while and it was a really good time. I was honestly shocked at how many people were there. I mean, it was literally like, I don't want to say a game, but maybe like a preseason game almost. Like, and even driving downtown, I actually had to work that morning. And so I was driving there after work, and just the amount of people walking around downtown Cincinnati in their Bengals gear, it was so cool to see because, it's not even football season yet. So, of course I saw the FC Cincinnati and the Reds gear too, but to see all the Bengals gear, in the middle of the summer, basically, was a really cool thing to see. I heard that the NFL Network didn't cover it very well. Did you guys happen to watch any of that coverage?
I watched so much of the coverage. I probably watched maybe 3 hours throughout the day and the repeat of it, and I saw nothing. I was getting so mad.
No mention?
Oh. Nothing.
That's wild. I honestly get all of my news and stuff from you guys on Twitter. So I was following along on there and all the Bengals reporters and stuff, but I was shocked because again, maybe a preseason game. I haven't been to a preseason game there before, but I was like, it is packed. I loved that. And I feel like it is a really good insight into what the culture is like right now and how excited people are leading up to the season. I mean, have you seen it like this before, Jess?
Honestly, no. So every year they do training camp. Obviously, last year it didn't happen, but they always have little things. 2 years ago, they had a thing in Dayton where they let people in and they practice on that field. I have very sad memories of that day because that was when AJ Green hurt himself again. So that was kind of a terrible day. But they always have what they call family day, where they have it at the stadium, and they invite all the families, and it's a good opportunity to get all your stuff signed, and it's a really fun thing. And then the other training camp days they have on the practice field, and it's a much smaller attendance, obviously. But I really feel like that was probably the biggest training camp day that I'd ever seen there. So it was really cool. And I agree. I think it speaks to everybody's excitement for this upcoming season. I know I'm excited. So
yeah, you can tell the players really loved it too. I think as much as the fans did. So
yeah. Absolutely. So the one part that I did get to be there for was the very end. We were down, and the hard part too is that we walk around and we got to stop and talk to every single person that we see. So, it takes a long time to walk around the stadium because you want to see everybody. But we finally made it back down to the seats for when the players were coming off. And it was really cool to see everybody so hyped, coming off the field. Joe Mixon was, I think you guys might have seen the clip today on Twitter. He was, just pumping everybody up. It was so great. But I agree. I think that the players are really excited too.
I feel like they're having a lot of fun right now too. You can just tell that they're really enjoying themselves.
We love that. I feel like there's always this before the season starts, everybody gets so excited and there's all this anticipation leading up to it. And it definitely feels like it's always kind of all of us feeling that way. But for some reason this season, and it might be because the players didn't have fans last season there and now they do, and interacting with everybody again, and just a shift in the culture, but you could tell that they're all a part of it now too, which is really exciting. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm let's keep it going.
I know, right? Well, I forget who said it, but I think somebody said there's a lot of buy-in now. Everybody's really bought in. And I
This is
really feel like,
Rondell today.
is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I know somebody said that they feel like there's more buy-in now. And that to me is super exciting because, you know, these guys, this is their job. And yeah, they love it, but they're doing a job. And, you know, I've had jobs before that I didn't love. You know, you go to work every day and you make the best of it. But when you really love your job and you love what you're doing, you're excited about it every day, I feel like that changes the way you perform at it. And it changes the way, you know, your attitude about everything, I think can make a big impact. So I'm excited that these guys are excited. You know, obviously it's our team. We're always going to be excited, but you know, for these guys to be excited, I think is going to be great.
Yeah, and your coworkers and your boss make all the difference, and if you like going to your job or not, and they get their coworkers and their bosses, so that's a good sign too.
Absolutely, yeah. So today, what? Go ahead, Yaz. I'm sorry.
No, I bet you that you're gonna bring this up very soon, so I'm gonna just hold on to it and keep going, and if not, then I'll bring it back up.
Okay, all right. You have to promise to bring it back up though if I don't.
Promise.
So I don't know if you guys got to see anything out of today's training camp with pads on. I know it's all very new, but that I was really excited for that today because I feel like that's like the first real, you know, now it's like getting real. This is like real training camp now that everybody's got their pads on. And I had heard, you know, obviously we've all heard the grumblings about the wide receivers and, you know, are they going to be okay? Is Joe Burrow going to be okay? Is he going to come back from injury? And I think there's a lot of people right now that think the sky is falling as far as that, all that's concerned. But, you know, I was talking with Cap right before we came on and he was like, you know, the offense will get there. You know, they'll get there. It's a bunch of new guys, you know, as far as like Jamar Chase, who didn't play last year. You know, they're learning things. And if you don't know where you're supposed to be, you know, it's not that hard for the defense to just follow you. So I'm glad that the defense is standing out right now. I'm glad that these guys are shining bright because I love that. I love the defense. But, you know, I think that it's too soon to really be upset about anything that's happening with the wide receivers or Joe Burrow, in my opinion. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's crazy for anyone to think that a healthy Joe Burrow coming back, a healthy Joe Mixon, picking up Chase, who is an addition that we needed, the upgrades that we made to O-line, the fact that we didn't practice last year or have camp. Joe is a rookie. It's crazy to think that we're not going to be better on offense than we were last year. And we were damn good and put up a lot of yards, scored a lot. So we want to see, like, my big question mark leading into the season has been all the way defense, and losing my hottest seat right now. So I want to see that because I feel very confident that our offense will figure it out. And I mean, if you saw what they had to work with last year and the amount of yards and points that they put up, I mean, that's going to continue and it should actually get a lot better. So what we really need is a defense that doesn't force Joe and company to score 30 plus, points a game. Like, how many did we lose last year by this much, but we scored decent points? Like, it was our defense that really didn't get the job done. So I'm hype about it. There's no sky falling as far as I'm concerned, but that's just
no,
me.
I totally agree because I agree that the defense is kind of a question mark in my mind. But you know, hearing that all these guys that the culture is shifting and that everything's getting better, and I have nothing but excitement for what's going to happen on the defense. So,
and it's still so early for everything. It's still early. Yeah. I mean, we saw what Joe Burrow did without any kind of camp last year, so I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to say. Actually, I was going to say, I'm sure you saw people freaking out on Twitter today about the offense and how it didn't make me freak out at all. And everything that you said, Whitney, was like explained so perfectly. But I would rather see the defense do better now. Obviously, I want the offense to gel as soon as possible. Like, I want them to get it together and figure it out. But I know that they will figure it out versus the defense. We also have a lot of new players from different teams. I'd love for them to just figure it all out, build what they want to produce this season. And I want them to do well. I also I saw a video today of Tyler Boyd getting a pass broken up, and he was really frustrated after. But I want that. I want him to struggle. I want him to be frustrated because it's going to fuel him to continue trying harder. If it was going perfectly in day 1 in pads, then day 2, day 3, day 4, they're probably not going to practice as hard as they should be because day 1 went really freaking well. So I think that the offense struggling, as far as like it may be boring, I think it's okay. I think it's a good thing.
I agree. Yes. I feel like that's, that as fans, that's what we want to see. We want to see that pretty, 50-yard pass, but not realizing that there'll be time enough for that when the season starts. That right now it's important to nose to the grindstone, work out all the kinks, learn everything. I mean, I'm sure I can't imagine how difficult it is for these guys to learn these routes and to know exactly I'm supposed to run 20 yards and then I cut at this angle or I go. I mean, I just can't even imagine, I can't even wrap my brain around it, how hard that would be to know where your body is in space and to go there and do what you're supposed to do. So I think it takes time to learn these things. And I don't know the playbook. I don't know what routes they're supposed to be running. So it could just be that they are not getting the separation because they just don't exactly know where they're going yet, or they're nervous, or they're hesitating, or there could be 100 million things. So I agree. I'm not worried at all, but I am excited about like Awuzie, Eli Apple, all these really big name guys that were high round draft picks that we got in the off season in free agency. I am really excited to see how they're going to produce, how they're going to gel with the rest of the defense, and what they're going to bring to the table this season. So
yeah, and Hilton's already been exciting, right? Love stealing him from the Steelers, no pun intended. That was a great great acquisition for us. It's paying off already.
Absolutely. How about you, Jerry? Have you seen much out of training camp?
I've tried to see everything through Twitter because, again, the national media doesn't give us a whole lot of coverage, but it's mostly been during work when everything's been going on. So I've been trying to work and also trying to catch up on training camp. The one-handed catch today that he did, that was pretty cool. I think he's going to have a huge year too. But I think a lot of people are expecting our offense to be explosive, which I think we are, but I really think that our defense is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yep.
So, on the work note, I also I got a new job recently, it's been 2 months or something, but my boss follows me on Twitter. So
no.
During the work hours, and he's amazing. I love him. But during the work hours, especially right now when I want to so badly go to Twitter and see what's going on, sometimes I'm like, just don't even do it, because if you get caught tweeting, I don't know what's going to happen. So it's been funny for me because the T one-handed catch, I know it came out this morning pretty early, especially I'm 3 hours behind everybody over here. So different for me, and I just reposted it recently. I'm like, it's the end of the work day. I could finally say something. So it's been funny. I'm like, dang it. I didn't have this last season. Last season, I was just all day, every day. Now I have to kind of watch myself a little bit, but it's all right.
Wow. I'm so glad nobody I work with follows me on Twitter.
I know.
My boss is
I'm
a
like,
huge
should I
football
block
fan.
him?
Oh, that's
My boss is also a football fan, but I should just ask him one day, how do we feel about this? My work is getting done, but I have another work to get to, Bengals. So
my boss will send me stuff all day through Twitter and Instagram, and I'm like, we're on a meeting right now. He's like,
that is amazing.
Or he'll be like, did you see this? I'm like, Matt, I saw this 10 minutes ago. Where have you been?
They're like, no, I'm working, obviously, working really hard. No, I didn't see any of that. That's really funny though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think T, by the way, Yaz, you mentioned his one-handed catch, but
yeah.
I mean, Chase has gotten so much coverage and Burrow's gotten so much coverage. I think Higgins, man, he looks so good, and I think he's going to have a phenomenal year, but maybe even more. I just have a feeling about Boyd.
Yeah.
I don't think he's let go of. I think he's always had a chip on his shoulder, and I think and everybody else is getting. I'll hear people on NFL Network bring up the Bengals, and they'll say Chase first, or they'll say Chase and Higgins. They rarely say Boyd, and
yeah,
I think that's
Well,
crazy. He's earned respect. Well, he's earned respect, but so is Bates, and he doesn't get any coverage either. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think he could be sneaky amazing, and I think that 3-receiver 1,000-yard season is not too far fetched if you look at those guys. I'm just not. I have all the confidence in the world they'll figure it out, and I'm kind of glad they're getting their butts whooped a little bit in practice right now to get their attention. You know, because I think they have that potential for sure.
Absolutely. And, you bring up a good point about Boyd. I mean, he is the #1 slot receiver in the league, the whole league. And, he doesn't get the love that he should. But I'm so glad that we have him for many, many reasons. But I'm so glad that we have him to be a mentor to these young guys, to T and to Jamar. And honestly, T. Higgins was probably my favorite surprise out of last season. I know literally, to say I know nothing about the draft is an overstatement. Like, I literally know nothing about these draft picks. Everything I know about these draft picks comes from Captain and Malik Wright. So if I didn't hear it from Captain or Malik Wright, I literally know nothing about these draft picks. But the fact that T. Higgins could have very easily gone in the first round and that we got him in the second round, to me, it was like basically like getting 2 first-round draft picks. So, he was exciting all last year. And I have to laugh because there was a story, I don't know if you guys read it, but Jeff Hobson wrote a story about how he started the season last year kind of out of shape. And he sort of blames being out of shape on the fact that he injured his hamstring a couple of times. And the reason why he was out of shape was because he loves Hamburger Helper so much. And I laughed so hard because that was like the most relatable thing ever to, be like, well, I'm a really great professional football player, but I really love to eat Hamburger Helper. So I was like, well, that's a good thing that I'm not a professional athlete, because there are so many foods that would be my ultimate undoing. Probably tacos and pizza are definitely on that list. So, thankfully I'm not a professional athlete, but I'm just curious, what are your guys' foods that would totally be your undoing?
Soft serve ice cream, 100%. Could have it breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I had a machine in my house. And I have thought about getting a machine in my house, and I'm very glad that I have decided not to do that. But yeah, soft serve.
You know what's so funny about that is I went to high school in Dublin, Ohio, and that's where Wendy's was founded. And my sister went to school. My sister, who's younger than me, went to school with some descendant of Dave Thomas. Some, like, I don't even know, like it had to have been like a grandchild or something. Anyway, this girl had a Frosty machine in her bedroom.
Come on.
And I was literally like, that I could not happen. Like, I would have diabetes like tomorrow if I had a Frosty machine in my bedroom, y'all. So I totally agree with you, Whitney. How about you, Yaz?
Mine would be pasta. I was actually just Googling Hamburger Helper because I've never had it before.
You've never had Hamburger Helper?
No,
well, there's pasta in it.
Yeah, it looks so good. It actually looks so good. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't know if they have a vegetarian version. Actually, let me see. Vegetarian Hamburger Helper. Pasta would probably be one for me. Bagels used to be a really big one, but now I had to cut back on the bagels because I was just like swollen at all times. I'm like bagel for lunch, breakfast, dinner, everything. And then cereal used to be like, so when I became a vegetarian in my freshman year of high school, I would only ever eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch and mac and cheese, and my parents would yell at me and be like, you're not getting the proper nutrients your brain needs. And I would be like, yes, I am. I'm eating. And they would be like, no, you're not. And now I'm like a big health freak. And I'm like, I was just consuming Cinnamon Toast Crunch and mac and cheese every single day. So bad. So bad. But I was in high school, so it was easy. It was easy to just like eat crap and feel great, But
absolutely.
Stay tuned. I'm going to go get myself a vegetarian Hamburger Helper because
yeah, the thing about Hamburger Helper is that it's meant to go with hamburger. So you brown the hamburger, whatever. Welcome back, Whitney. Sorry, I don't know how much you heard, but Yaz has never tried Hamburger Helper. So I'm learning her about Hamburger Helper. So anyway, you brown the hamburger and then you like add all this other stuff to it. So it's like the pasta and the seasonings and it makes like a sauce and everything else. So you can literally put like anything that you could substitute for hamburger. Like I'm not a vegetarian, so I don't know all the options, but I know there's like the Impossible meat or whatever that they make hamburgers out of. I guarantee you can make Impossible Helper.
Okay, it's coming.
So
Stay
I'm
tuned.
gonna need you to do that as your homework assignment before we do the next show.
Let's do it. I will be back.
Yeah. All
What is
right,
he saying?
Jerry.
So
What?
mine is probably Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
It doesn't matter if I've like been out drinking that night or if it's 5 in the afternoon. I just love Taco Bell. My other one is probably, I always say it wrong. It's either Tortino's or Tostino's pizza. They're square now. I don't know why, but I love those too. I don't eat them very often, but whenever I usually keep them in the house just because I know if we go out, my husband 9 times out of 10 will try to not go to Taco Bell because the line is always at least an hour long and it drives him nuts. So I at least keep the pizzas home for later when I'm starving.
For like an emergency.
Exactly.
Like a drunk food emergency. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm totally with you, Jerry. I am also obsessed with Taco Bell. And I am so upset, like beyond upset, that they don't have breakfast anymore. Because that was one of my favorite things. At least mine doesn't. I don't know if they all don't now or what. But I used to love me some Taco Bell breakfast. But now I'm on to Wendy's breakfast. So that's also probably
Wendy's potatoes.
Yes, I know you know. I know you know. Yes.
Yes. They are so good. I was on a road trip and like Wendy's was the only place that was open and it was my first time and I had those potatoes. Oh my God. I need to go back and get more right now. Tomorrow morning.
Do you know what's like a travesty is that I usually skip the potatoes like as some sort of like concession. I'm like, well, I'm going to eat this chicken, butter, maple, whatever croissant thing. But I'm not gonna eat the potatoes. That's like my compromise to myself. But I really need to just give in and get the potatoes also. I've only had the potatoes like probably 1 or 2 times, but yeah, the sandwiches are so good.
They are.
So good. Yeah. It's a good thing I'm not a professional athlete, but anyway.
None of us.
Well, it looks like T did switch up his workout routine, maybe less hamburger helper because he looks, I tweeted this before, so I'm just repeating myself, but he looks like a man. Like last season, I felt like T. Higgins was a boy, and I feel like he has now turned into a man. He's bigger. He just looks like he grew up a lot in the past year, and I'm really excited about that because I think that it's really good for us. So selfishly, I'm very happy about that.
No, I totally agree. I feel like, Boyd has kind of mentored him and he learned from his mistakes from last year and, coming in not in the best shape. And now he's like super committed and super like, he knows what that can do to his body as far as injuries and stuff like that. So now he's like, part of being all in is he, worked really hard to get in really great shape. So super excited about that.
I agree.
Anything else from training camp? What you got, Yaz?
I think we were going to talk about Joe Mixon a little bit. Just we're excited about him. And I know he's really excited about the season. He seems like he's been I feel like he is like our team hype man. I think we have a few. But I feel like he's always been one that gets like really in the zone, like really motivated. And I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on Joe Mixon? I'm excited to watch him play this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I brought up Joe the other day chatting with Jess. Like, I guess my thing is there's this epic reunion happening between him and Frank Pollock. Like, I want more of that covered because he's just not getting much focus. And he's got to be thriving and happy to go to work every day right now. And I know he put a lot of work in during the off season. I feel like the day after last season ended, he was on it, like man on a mission. Probably especially chomping at the bit because of, him missing so much playtime last year. But the Frank and Joe reunion is like, I'm here for it. And I kind of want to hear more about it and see it more, but this is kind of where I'm at.
I totally agree. And the thing I love so much about Joe Mixon is totally the kind of guy that I would want to be best friends with because he just is so excited about life. Like he loves everything. He's at the Reds game and he loves the Reds and he loves he's just so great. Like he's just the person that I just love, and I love his interactions on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw, but he actually showed up at somebody's I don't know if it was a graduation party or a birthday party.
Yes.
Graduation party. He showed up with a gift.
That is so cute.
He's just
That was awesome.
such a great guy. He's just the kind of guy that I just want to be best friends with. So yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm excited. That's all.
I am too. And I was just gonna say, my current BFF is CJ.
Yes.
Because you talking about Joe reminded me of CJ, that energy and enthusiasm, and he's like a child in the best way.
Yes.
That exuberance, just unfiltered, just joy.
Yes.
I would love to be in that energy for a while. He's pretty great.
Unbridled joy. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. He is always just smiling really big.
Yes. Yeah, I wish you guys could have been there at the thing on Saturday because he was literally he ran up and the players run up and we're clapping for everybody, but then you'll see somebody that you recognize and you're like, woo! And so when Joe came over, everybody got really, really excited, and then he was totally hamming it up. You guys probably saw the video, but it was just so great to see him out there, and I'm so happy for him. I hope he can stay good and healthy this year. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm excited about CJ also. And I think I was listening to, I forget who, maybe it was Dan Horde and Dave Lapham, but they were talking about how the tight end position is really the most versatile position because when they're on the field, you don't know if they're going to throw a block. You don't know if they're going to, run downfield. CJ Uzama will always have a special piece of my heart because that was Joe Burrow's first touchdown pass was to CJ. So, I'm really excited that he's back. I think he brings, he's got the same qualities that I love in Joe Mixon, and that he's excited and, he's got a great smile and is always happy. And so, yeah, I'm excited about him being back also.
He could be a secret weapon to watch this year too, because I had good feeling about him going into last season. And then, like you said, he caught Joe's first touchdown pass. It was looking great. And then it just ended way too soon. So yeah, he could be a sleeper for everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I agree because he's always been solid, but he could just totally break out and have the best season ever. So yep.
I hope so. I love that. I like that idea. I saw in the comments that Orange Arrow said CJ talking about T University has me pumped for his fantasy potential, and I did kind of follow along on that journey where a bunch of tight ends got together to work out, and they had this tight end camp. And I think that is something that is so special and can give him so much knowledge and insight from others to bring back to our team. And so, yeah, I'm excited, especially at that tight end position right now. So I hope that his happy personality is bringing all the good vibes to have him have an incredible season.
Yes, good vibes only. I love it. Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap this up real quick, though, before we get out of here, though. I want to every week on the show or however after I'm going to do it every week during the season. Sorry if you guys can hear my psychotic dogs. I don't know how much you guys can hear what's going on down there, but they do this thing where they try to kill each other and but we're going to every week or every time we do the show, we're going to do a fashion spotlight where we talk about, what we wore to the game or, what we've seen recently that we really like. There's so much cool stuff going on right now. I feel like with the fans and people doing stuff. And, here's BB. Here's BB for her. She's got her Bengals shirt on.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Awesome.
So that's BB. But anyway, so I just kind of wanted to talk about anything that we were excited about as far as new stuff coming out, new, people are making shirts. It seems like everyone's making a shirt. It's great. I love it. I know, as you saw, we're working with some people that were doing some shirts, and I was at the pro shop on Saturday. There's a lot of cool stuff in the pro shop, stuff that I hadn't seen before. So I just kind of want to everyone talk about if they're excited about anything or their favorite piece of Bengals memorabilia or clothing or what you got.
Yeah. So Oh wait, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I was working with where I'm from, and they had like a Joe Burrow collection that dropped, and then a bunch of Cincinnati shirts, which this is one of the ones that I'm wearing. They have just like a really good collection right now of like different stuff. I think it's not so much what you would see like at the pro shop, which the pro shop stuff is incredible, but they get to use like the actual logo and stuff like that. So I think that where I'm from was tasked with like finding a different way to get people excited about Cincinnati without necessarily using like our logo or anything like that. But yeah, I did notice that a lot of people are making their own, which I think is incredible. And I'm really excited for everybody. I know like, well, there's just a lot and I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's so many people that have made really cool shirts, and I try to get them or post them or do whatever I can any chance I get. And I'm sure it's only going to be even more as we get closer to the season.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jerry. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, my problem is I want everything that
Right.
like shows up on Twitter, or just I spend way too much time browsing like eBay and Etsy, and I don't know if you guys saw the picture of my closet today.
I did.
But
Very impressed.
Jealous.
today
is the word.
on eBay, I bought some vintage Bengals suspenders. Don't know why, but they look so cool. I'm like,
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I need these. So I've got those coming, and I'm sure my husband is just going to shake his head because he's about every other day I have something Bengals related show up to the house, and he's just like, you have a problem.
Hey, it's a good problem to have. I wonder what year the suspenders are from. That's kind of amazing.
It said from the 80s. So when I get them, I'll definitely like post a picture and everything. So.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. That's amazing. How about you, Whitney? Anything you're excited about as far as clothing?
A lot. My pocketbook is not going to make it this season, but I was telling you earlier, I'm really excited about Ace Boogie's shirt, the Trey Amigos shirt. First of all, it's gorgeous. I haven't seen anything like it, but then I saw T's mom was rocking it at Back Together Saturday, and she was taking pictures with lots of fans, so it got a lot of screen time, and I was really stoked about that because I think it's a really, really unique piece, and so that's definitely on my wish list. And I don't want to try to name everybody, but I will say that Zim's Whole Lot of Orange, you got some great pictures, Yaz, in that, but I know he's coming out with like a black version on Friday, so I'm definitely getting one. It's just a matter of if I'm going to get black or white. And then the only other thing, like Kay Adams, when she wears that black Who Day sweatshirt, lights the world on fire on Twitter for us. And I have looked high and low, and I cannot find it. So at this point, I'm putting it out there. I need someone to make it so that we can all buy it. Like, it can't be that hard to recreate. It's just letters.
It sounds like a business opportunity.
I totally agree with you, Whitney. And, I think I speak for most of everyone when I say, Kay Adams is kind of like my idol, like my icon. And, when she started wearing the vintage stuff, I was just like, oh my God, I need all the vintage stuff now. And so that's why I got this shirt that that I love so much. It's one of my vintage finds. And I'm like you, Jerry. I'm scouring all these websites and Etsy and everywhere, just trying to see what kind of vintage stuff I can get my hands on, because since she started it, I'm obsessed with it. But I totally agree, Whitney. I think the more I look at that sweatshirt, I think it's just embroidered on the front, and I'm not sure about the lettering on the back, but I agree that it cannot be that hard to recreate. So I think we're going to have to recreate one. And
yeah, someone tag us
when you see
it so that we can buy it, because I kind of
seriously,
he keeps wearing it. I actually, I'll just tell you guys, I haven't posted it anywhere yet, honestly, because I think I'm a little bit embarrassed, but I don't know why. I come off as a very outgoing person, but realistically, I'm very much an introvert, and so I've been working with where I'm from on a collab for myself. For it's geared towards women and a vintage feel. So that is dropping next week, and it's only 2 shirts, but they're vintage and I think they're cute, and I've been working really hard on them. So I'm really excited. But you three, I'll send you your own. You don't have to buy it, and everybody else will have to go buy it. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. So that should be fun. But I tried to do like cut and like a look geared more towards women, because I feel like a lot of the time we have to like fit into men's t-shirts and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Coming soon. I'll give you guys a sneak peek so you can pick which one you want. Yeah.
That is so amazing. Yeah. Congratulations. That is awesome.
Thank you.
No, I totally agree. You know, this is a child's shirt. This is like a youth. This is like a
It's
youth
so cute.
size
It's so
12
cute.
shirt. Like that's like what size? I'm the size of a 12-year-old boy apparently. But no, I totally agree. Like there's just not a lot out there for women, I feel like. And that's why I started doing a lot of my own stuff, because I was actually inspired by one of the ladies who stops by our tailgate every week, or every game, not every week. But, you know, there's a lot of people that go to multiple tailgates, and she's like one of my, hold on, I got to put this dog down. She's crying.
Oh.
Sorry. I call it, her nickname is Tiny Whiny because that's all she does is whine, and she's really tiny. But so I started doing my own stuff because she actually inspired me. She would buy like the Bengals B patches off Etsy and just like glue them onto like something black that she loved. Like she'd find a black dress that she loved and she'd just glue a Bengals B onto it. And I'd be like, where did you get that? She's like, oh no, it's just from wherever. And I just glued a B onto it. And so that was like my first experimentation into like doing my own like stuff. And then I got a vinyl cutter, and then it's just kind of, now I just, you know, iron vinyl onto everything. But, you know, that's why I really wanted to start doing my own stuff, because I felt like, you know, I love the pro shop and I love everything, but I feel like a lot of it is just not like my style, not really geared towards me, not really doesn't fit me well, you know, stuff like that. So I love to see everybody branching out, doing their own thing, you know, making more styles for more people so that everybody can really find something that they love to wear and, you know, represent their team. So
the more options, the better.
absolutely.
No,
Can never have too many options.
Except for Jerry.
Jerry has all the options.
Right.
In her Bengals closet. She's a whole closet.
I had to kick my husband out of the closet because I needed more room. So he's got like this much room for like t-shirts, and then the rest of his stuff is upstairs. But
That's
like none
amazing.
of that stuff is his because he's not really a Bengals fan. He likes football a lot, but he doesn't love football the way that I love football. And a lot of times when I'm watching games, if it's not going so well, he'll quietly leave the house and go next door to the neighbors, even though they can usually still hear me.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I have a whole closet full of costumes. That's weird, but yeah, my main closet, our big closet or whatever, I have a section that's Bengals stuff, and I have a section that's actually, my whole lower bar is all sports stuff. So it's like the Bengals takes up the majority of it, because I literally have stuff in there with tags on it that I've never worn. I actually gave a lot of it away last year. I just mailed it. I'm like, what do you want? I'll mail it to you. I was mailing stuff to people. But I still have a giant section of my closet that's Bengal stuff. And then it's like, I have like a lot less red stuff. I have one FC Cincinnati shirt. And then I have like probably 10 Reds shirts, because I love the Reds too, to a much lesser extent, just because I like football so much more than I like baseball. But, you know, I love everything Cincinnati. I'll support my hometown teams, all of them. But yeah, Bengals and football has always been my number one love. So, all right, let's see. I am going to give away two. Oh, I have two. Oh, I have two Jamar Chase cards.
Ooh.
Kath will have to. Oh, shoot, you can't even see these because.
There you go. No. Yep.
All right, there's one.
That one's awesome.
What'd you say? I can't hear you. All right, so these are the prizes. Oh, that's so funny how his pants are see-through. Anyway, so I have two Jamar Chase cards to give away to somebody who subscribes. I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. You know, I hope to really make this a big thing. And, you know, when the season starts, I'm going to do it every week. When, you know, before that, we'll kind of just do it, you know, as the mood strikes. We'll, you know, try and get together once we've got some good news to talk about and all that good stuff. So I really appreciate you three ladies for your time and for being on here. And I appreciate all you guys for watching. Whether you watched it live, if you watched it live, you're my favorite. But if you watch it after the fact, that's great too. You know, our first video I felt like was very haphazard, and we got almost 900 views on it. So I think that we really have something special that we're bringing to the ether here. You know, I know a lot of people have shows and podcasts and stuff like that, but I'm really excited about kind of what we bring to the table. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love you all so much. Hooday.
Hooday.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. All right,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Have a good night. Now I'm going to turn on the Reds game.
Bye.
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 All right. Thanks, Whitney. Okay.